Master Mode has been out for a couple of weeks, and most people don't know how to play each class. So in this video, Dankestgamer will go over the current Master Mode gear, how to clear the dungeon, and how to do Master 5 boss fight. But before we get into it, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. And without further ado, let's begin.
Why should you do Master Mode? Well, Master Mode gives way more kata XP than normal dungeons, and the drops are increased, meaning that when Master 7 comes out, you will make insane money. Master Mode is quite different from normal dungeons, so how the dungeon is cleared is also very different. The best dungeon party is technically 4 left-click mages and a tank, but that requires everyone to be very high kata and have the best gear, so normally any party with a tank that could survive and a very good DPS such as a berserk or left-click mage will suffice. Archers are decent DPS but are usually outclassed by berserks and good left-click mages, and a healer can be used to make sure that everyone lives. First, I will go over a general overview of what everyone should do when clearing the dungeon. The berserks, left-click mage, and sometimes the archer is the party's DPS. The DPS should blood rush with the tank and clear the dungeon mini-boss rooms. If you clear the dungeon fast enough, a DPS class can also blood camp and kill all the mobs as they spawn, usually a left-click mage if they are good enough. The tank's role is very important as it soaks up nearby party members' damage. As a tank, your job is to stay near the DPS classes and tank all the damage with your tank passive. The mage should clear non-mini-boss rooms and do secrets, puzzles, and traps. But if the mage is a left-click mage, they should play the role of a berserk. The healer should focus on secrets and doing traps and puzzles. If a healer can clear, they can also clear non-mini-boss rooms. Every class should always ice spray mini-bosses, especially if you're tank or healer to support the DPS, and you can use a last breath to lower the defense of mini-bosses if needed. Once you enter the boss fight for Master 5, everyone but the tank should stand in this hallway where you spawn. Classes that don't do DPS such as the mage and healer should stand with their backs against a wall to avoid livid backstabs which do a lot of damage. The tank has a very important job during the boss fight, which is basically to aggro the livids over to the hallway. The tank needs to go into the middle before they spawn, and use the ultimate as soon as all the livids spawn, which will take aggro. Run over here where the hallway starts, AOT up, and jingle bell when you hit the ground. Then, just stand with your back against the wall in the middle of this hallway right here and stay alive. The healer's job is to make sure everyone doesn't die during the boss fight. They should tether the tank as soon as they enter the boss room by right-clicking the tank. Then, when the tank finishes aggroing, they can last breath the correct livid and ice spray, and also healing circle and hit the livids to heal with tether. Obviously, you should place an orb to heal everyone, and wish if anyone gets low. Finally, the DPS classes need to hit the correct livid and kill them. You can find the correct livid using an M5 livid solver, which is probably not bannable, but I would use at your own risk. There is also another way to find the correct livid based on which livid teleports to the tank last, but that method is much harder than using a solver. Mages shouldn't do much other than last breath and ice spray, but if you're a left click mage, you focus on killing the correct livid with the rest of the DPS. The items that every class needs include the ice spray, and for non-DPS classes, it's good to pick up a last breath. The first class I'll be going over is Tank, as I am a tank myself. For Tank, you're gonna need 3/4 Golder armor and a Reaper mask, as well as an Astray and Jingle Bells. For Pet, use the Whale Pet, and reforge your armor to Giant for more tankiness. As a Berserk, you will need 3/4 Necron and a Diamond Livid Head when clearing. You can optionally switch to a Warden helmet during boss fight or blood camping, which is the best DPS helmet. You can also use the Baby Yeti Pet to be tankier, but if you're surviving easily, use a Tiger Pet or an Ender Dragon Pet. The Valkyrie is by far the best DPS sword, and for clearing, you can use the Flower of Truth or Soul Whip. The Axe of the Shredded is also good for clearing due to its pierce. Also, you should focus on a max attack speed for more DPS instead of simply going for damage. For archers, you can copy the Berserk gear, except you'll need bone meringues and a one-for-all giant sword plus a death bow. You're going to be giant sword death bow swapping. You throw your bones, switch to the giant sword, and swap to the death bow when the bones start coming backwards. Mages can use Necrotic 3/4 Storm with Wither Goggles and a Hyperion. You use Whale Pet during the run, and you can swap out the Storm Boots for Tier 12 boots if you need to be tankier. If you're high enough kata, around 40, you can run left-click mage in the boss fight, with Warden Helmet and 3/4 Ancient Storm. This is technically the best DPS setup for a Master 5, but it requires really high kata. Healers can use mage gear during the run to clear and swap to tank gear during the boss, but if you can't clear even in mage gear, just stay in tank gear during the entire run. The Reaper mask actually works the same as the Mender Fedora, but with more EHP. even though the description doesn't say that it heals people 2 times. Also make sure that you have an overflux to heal your party members. Keep in mind that for gear, there is basically no budget setups as Master Mode is meant for better dungeon players. Master 5 is very hard, so don't expect to be able to do them unless you're already very endgame in dungeons, around Kata 30 plus. But if you can't do them, it's still worth doing dungeons to get higher Kata and work towards getting good at Master Mode, since Master 7 will presumably be one of the best money-making methods in the game.
And this is all we had for you today. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time.